Hi, Mitchell Levy, the AHA guy from AHAthat. And this is step 2 of the 3-step writing process in terms of writing an AHA book. You know, we produce in a number of different formats, including hardcover, paperback, PDF, Kindle, and of course on the AHAthat platform, we do color on the inside. And what's important about every message is our books are comprised of 140 bite-sized quotes or AHA messages. And so there are 140 quotes on the inside and 7 blog posts. And every blog post has a particular image on one side. So there's an image on one side and a blog post on the other. It could be tiny like this one, or it could be 1,000 words. And you know what's important is having messages. The core of the book are the AHA messages, one of 140. Any one of them can capture somebody's attention. So it's a 3-step process. Step 1 is a Word document where you fill out 4 answers to 4 questions, gives you context. Step 2 is what we're going to talk about here, are the guidelines for writing. And then step 3 is an Excel spreadsheet, is where you put your content. So let's talk about specifically first, if we're writing 140 of them, what is an AHA message? An AHA message is that single 7-second soundbite, whether it's 3 seconds or 10 seconds. It's 280 characters or less. I still like the smaller 140 characters. That captures somebody's attention, that gets them thinking of the world in a different way, gets them acting in a different way. It's something that when somebody sees it, they go, wow, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it this way. I haven't thought about it that way. I'm interested in learning more. Good point. It's one of those, aha, I got it. So step number 1 of the guidelines, each and every AHA message needs to stand on its own. So if you read that and only that one AHA message, it needs to be powerful. So it doesn't mean you can't have linked content together, like a list of 3 or 5. We'll cover that in another section. What it means is you can't assume that the person has read the message before or the message afterwards. We have to assume is they see and hear that one and only one message and they get it. Second point is that I would want the first and last AHA message of the book and the first and last AHA message of every section to be broad and upbeat, right? If somebody picked up your book, so let's say you grab this book, you pick it up and you're actually looking at a particular AHA message. What do? Well, first thing you may look at the table of contents and you're going to read the first message, maybe the last message. And if that doesn't capture your attention, you're going to throw it out and do something else. So you want to have the first and last AHA message of the section and of the book to be upbeat and powerful. Number 3, every AHA message needs to give attribution, right? And what we've decided is you can do it with a Twitter handle, you do it with a URL pointing to LinkedIn, could be URL pointing to a profile of yours. And we use a short URL service called AHAthat. So we will actually take whatever you decide to do, put it into typically it'll be AHAthat / your first name, your last name. And then that will then reference your attribution. What we found recently towards the end of 2018 is that Twitter, when you include a reference to a LinkedIn profile, includes a small piece of the LinkedIn profile in the tweet itself, which is really powerful. So we now lean in the direction of using the LinkedIn profile. But you want to give attribution to every AHA message. So this way, if somebody shares your stuff, they're giving attribution back to you. And if you're borrowing somebody else's quote, as long as you give them attribution, that's great. And then say via, and then include the reference to you. So you're showing and demonstrating that you're sharing somebody else's content and that it's also coming from you. Number 4, very important, no plagiarism, right? It is okay to borrow other people's content that's in the public domain as long as you give appropriate attribution. And if you don't do it. Number 5, you can enhance the value of a particular AHA message by including both a hashtag. So you can have a hashtag of a piece of content, a single word or a phrase that people actually reference and will do research on, or you can include a URL. And the URL then can point to YouTube, SlideShare, any piece of your website. If it's a book, your book for sale on Amazon, essentially any piece of content that adds more value. So these guidelines, you're watching the video, it'll also point to the actual PDF. The PDF points back to the video. It's just helping to add more value because people process information in different ways. And if they want to learn more, if that aha message is compelling, you need to give them an opportunity to then do research and learn more. The number 6, every aha message needs to be tweetable. So in the old days, that was 140 characters. Nowadays, it's 280. I still will encourage you, shorter is better. If you can get your message out in a shorter number of words, the better it is, because it's more memorable, easier to consume, easier to have that high impact. That 280 characters, that includes the URL, the hashtags, everything. So it can't be longer than that, because we want to make sure in the AHAthat platform that every aha message is easily shareable on social media. And we have a button underneath each aha message that allows you to share on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+. So, and whatever other platforms we add in over time. So you want to make sure that you keep your content compelling enough. And once again, include both hashtags and URLs. Number 7, and I referenced this in number 1 earlier, and that is having a list of items. So let's say I wanted to create a list of the top 3 reasons you want to write an AHA book. And I was talking about list number 2, or even better, how about the top 3 steps, or the only 3 steps to write your AHA book? This is step number 2. So the tweet itself would be step 2 of 3 of writing your AHA book. The first one would be step 1 of 3. Step 3 of 3 would be the last one. This way, if you read this in and of itself, you would know right away that this is step 2 of 3 of writing your AHA book. And then if you were interested, you would then search for the other 3 steps. It was the 7 steps of being the most successful time management person in the world, and you're reading steps 5 of 7 as opposed to step 5. If you read step 5, you're like, oh, what's the context? If you're reading steps 5 to 7, it's easy for you to find the other 6. So that's how you want to do that. Number 8 is you want to make sure that even though the book itself may have a section that's an introductory section, or may have a conclusion section, you want to make sure that these are not related to the content inside the AHA book. You're not actually writing your introduction and conclusion as part of the AHA messages. They may be introductory focused comments or concluding focused comments. But remember, rule number 1 is each AHA message needs to be standalone. So if it's at the beginning of the book, it just means that it's introductory focused comments versus others. And so you want to make sure that you're not just writing your introduction and conclusion as part of your AHA messages. Those are no longer relevant in this style of book. What you could do, if it's very powerful, is you do it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minute video, and then you link to it and include the URL that links to that video as part of your messaging. And then number 9, most important thing, have fun. The writing part, the business part, life is supposed to be fun, enjoyable. And your job is to communicate what's in here, what's in your heart, and help share that with the world. The messages that are most compelling, the AHA messages that capture people's attention, are those that they actually can see and feel and grasp and put their arms around. So have fun, enjoy the writing process, make stuff happen. We really do make this easy as a 3-step writing process. And particularly an AHA message, the primary focus, once again, capture the attention of the customer, and particularly the pain point they're having, in such a way where they go, aha, this works. And thanks, Aaron, for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you at the next step and reading your AHA messages. Bye now.